Hello, my name is Bogdan and today we'll be speaking about Introduction to Motion Layout in Android Studio. So we're going to be diving in using the motion editor and how you can get started and the basic of motion layout, and hopefully by the end of this presentation you'll be able to make your apps have great animation inside them. I usually like to see animation in apps, but I have never had the chance to create them from scratch. I only added some by using some helpers like Lottie Animation or some code from GitHub, or transition animation from frame to frame, or fancy displaying recycle view with recycle view items. The past days I wanted to dig a bit more into animation and discovered motion layout, so I wanted to share with you some basic stuff that I have played around with. So a little bit about me. So my name is Bogdan again. I'm a 35 years old Android developer from Romania. And let's see what we'll cover today. First of all, we'll discuss about what is motion layout, starting with exactly what is a layout, a constraint layout. We will look at some examples created by others that you can find on the GitHub and you can use as a reference or guidance. Then we will answer two questions: why motion layout and when to use this approach. And in the end, after discussing about the theoretical part a little bit, we will dive in a little bit and try to create a sample app and play around with some animations. So, what is a motion layout? First of all, let's define what is a layout. A layout could be defined like what the user sees on the screen when you open an app. Now that we know what a layout is, what could motion layout mean? At the first look, I would say a layout that moves. And indeed, that is the case. We can animate layout elements by moving, resizing, and much more. First of all, motion layout is a subclass of constraint layout, which means that you can use everything from constraint layout, like chains, constraints, and it helps you manage motion and widget animation in your app. It is used for complex view animation driven by interactions, things like dragging on a recycle view, touching on a button and moving a bunch of views at once in different directions at the same time. It's more for like a whole complete scene that you're transitioning and not just like an individual item that you're transitioning with. It's very nice to use. It's fully declarative. You can fully describe the transition in XML file, but if you want, you can also do it programmatically. The nice part is that it allows midway seeking. This means that you can seek an animation at a percentage and see if that is what you want to display on the screen. Other animations are like fire and forget. So basically what this means is that an animation is divided from 0 to 100%, and you can capture at the middle of the animation an element and make it visible, completely visible at the middle of the animation, or completely invisible at the end of the animation. So basically we can capture different moments of the animation. It's backwards compatible to API level 14. This means that it covers a lot of Android devices. Another cool thing is that it has a motion editor, which helps you a lot when you create your animation. We will see this in action when we will create the sample app. So, motion layout in action, we can see some samples here which were created with motion layout. The first one is like a filtering scenario, and the second one because there are some landing screen animations. Both of them were done with motion layout, and hopefully at the end of this presentation you will be able to do basic animation with motion layout and continue from here with more complex animation. Now let's try to answer the two questions: why motion layout and when to use it? Why should we use motion layout when there are out there a lot of helpers for doing animations, like animated vector drawable, or layout transition animation, or layout transition with transition manager, or coordinator layout? Motion layout was created to bridge the gap between layout transition and complex motion handling. In terms of capabilities, you can think of it as a mix between the property animation framework, transition manager, and coordinator layout. It lets you describe the transition between two layouts like transition manager, but can animate any properties as well, not just layout attributes. Moreover, it inherently supports seekable transition like coordinated layout. The transition can be driven purely by touch and transition to any point of it instantly. It supports touch handling and keyframes, allowing developers to easily customize transition on their own needs. Beyond this scope, the other key difference is that motion layout is fully declarative. You can fully describe in XML a complex transition. No code is expected. If you need to express motion by code, the existing property animation framework already provides a great way of doing it. Now let's answer when to use it. First of all, when you want to create a nice animation. But the scenario that we envision for motion layout are when you need to move, resize or animate the actual UI elements, buttons, title bars, any other elements that the user needs to interact with. And it's important to realize that motion is here to serve a purpose. It should not be simply a gracious special effect in your application. It should be used to help to understand what your application is doing. So now let's dive in. Let's open Android Studio. I've already created an application with this an activity with an image view and some text and some card views. First of all, we need to look into the application build Gradle to see if we have the constraint layout added as a dependency. We can see that the constraint layout is a dependency, so basically we can use motion layout. If we go back to activity main, for adding motion layout, first we need to change this constraint layout to motion layout. So we can do this by typing in it, or let's reverse so that I can show you the other thing. You can go to the design. You can right click in the component tree on the constraint layout and tap on convert to motion layout. We'll tap on conversion. This will create an XML file with a motion scene, activity main scene. You can see it here, it's under XML. If we open this, we can see that it created a motion scene, which has a transition from the constraint set end to constraint set start, with a duration of 1000. We have some keyframes. This is empty. For now, we will see them in action when we'll add some transitioning, some animation. And we can see the constraints set start and end, they are empty. So basically, we are transitioning between a constraint set start and a constraint set end. Now let's go back to activity main. We see on the right hand the motion editor. We see the motion layout. We see the constraint set start, which has yet no constraints, and constraint set end, again no constraint, and this arrow is the transition between start and end. If we tap on play, we will see that nothing happens because we don't have any kind of animation. So let's start adding some animation. First of all, we will go to the start and add some constraint sets. If we tap, we can add constraint sets by tapping on this pencil. So let's say for image view, I want to add some constraint sets. Okay, we have here the attributes for it, and we will add some transformation. We will add scale x and y. And alpha 0. So it's invisible and smaller. So now if we go to the transition and tap on play, we will see that we already have created a small animation. The image will get from alpha 0 to alpha 1, and in the beginning its size is at 50% than its original size. And now if we go to activity main scene, let's stop this, activity main scene, and we can see that we have a constraint set start. We have the image view defined here with alpha 0 and scale x and y to 0.5. Because we do not have any kind of constraint set at the end, basically the image view will animate from from this instance to what we already have defined in the layout. So it will go to here. So it will double its size, and we have here alpha defined as 1. So basically it will be visible. If we go back to the design, let's add some transition. Okay, currently we see that we do not have any kind of transition. Now I can set some key attributes for the image view at position, I know, 50. I want a rotation, and here we can play with the rotations. You can see it already. I wanted to add it to minus 45 degrees. I can do it like that, or I can type it in minus 45. Okay, and now if I tap on play, you can see that the image view is coming from behind and it's rotating at position 50. So you can see here that we have position 0 to position 100. So it goes from 0 to 100. And I said at position 50, I want you to be rotated until then to 50 minus 45 degrees. Okay, now let's add some more transition. Let me stop this. So let's say we want the hello world at the end to double its size. We'll add a constraint set for text view title, add constraint set, create constraint, and we'll go here and we'll add scale x to 1.5 and scale y to 1.5. So basically we want it to be bigger than what it is, and we want to add again a transition. Okay, key attributes, we will select the ID, text view title. Let's say we want again at position 50, we want to create a rotation, add. Okay, we will add again minus 45 degrees. Okay, enter, and now let's play it. So we can see that it's doubling its, let's make it double its size. Okay, let's go to the end and add scale x and y to 2 to double its size. And now if you go to the transition, this is a nice feature. We can tap on play and we can see that it's animating. Okay, let's animate also this text view. We will create a new key attribute, image view, text description, again at position 50. We want again the rotation, and you can see that you can play around with this, with the keys that you already have defined, or you can type them in. I will add here, I'll remove this, and I'll add text description minus 45 so that they all be the same. Okay, and now I'll tap on play. This is not something, this is only for showing you how it works. It's not something so fancy. Okay, let me go back to the start. Let me add the text view, add some constraint set, add the alpha at 0. For the text view, also add the alpha at 0. For first view, add the alpha at 0. We want everything to be, so we want this to animate like a landing screen when the user first enters the app. And now if we tap, we can see that they are invisible and then they get visible. Okay, so let's add some constraints to the card views. For the first card view, I want to add a key attribute. This is the ID is first view at position 0. I want it to rotate on the X scale, and okay, first view. Okay, transformation, rotation X, 45 degrees. or more. Let's add more. That's 19 degrees. Okay. And let's add in the start more to the first view. Add scale X at 0. I know 5, 0 0.5, 0 0.5. Okay, now if I go to the transition and tap on play, you can see how this is looking like. So it's increasing its size and it's rotating it. Okay, let's stop this and see what other transition we have here. Let's add a transition to the second view. Key attributes, second view at position 0. We want a rotation on the Y scale. Okay. Let's see here, second view, transformation, rotation on Y. Let's make it this also to 90 degrees. 90 degrees, and let's see what we have here on the second view. Scale X, let's add 0, 0. Let's see what happens. Okay, now if I tap on play, we can see that it's increasing its size and from 0, and it's flipping everything, and it has that, because it's a card view, it has that nice background behind it, so that it's like a shadow to it. Okay, and let's add the transition to the last one. Key attributes, we add for the third view. Again, at position 0, we want to rotate. A rotation, add third view, rotation 45. Let's add 90 degrees. I'm not sure if that's not too much. Maybe it is. And now if we tap play, we can see, let's make this also the third view, have a scale X to Y 0 and 0 in order to see it how it grows. Another nice thing about this is that we can play the transition and we can slow it down so that we can see in slow motion what happens. What else do we have here? Let's say that we want to add the text. Let's say the text. Let me increase this back to 1 and tap on stop. Let's say that we want the greetings text color to change. Text view description. We can add some custom attributes like, I know, color. Attribute name text color. It will hint us about this text color. And we want a value. We will need to add this in. And now it will be black. Okay. And at the end, the same text view description. I will add a constraint set to it, and I will add a custom attribute. And in the end, I want this text color to be white. Basically, it will animate from black to white. So you can see that it's black to white. This is not the fanciest animation, as I said before, but this is, its purpose is to show you exactly how this is working. Maybe it's the rotation not too much, but you can see exactly what's happening. On the transition, we can add some interpolators, like bounce. Maybe we can add bounce. Let me increase the sizes. It's not that visible. Let me stop, and I'll make it linear and staggered at 65. We'll see. It's not okay. Sorry. I'm not sure why this is not working. I have missed something maybe. Animate to start. And now let's add some. Let's trigger this. First of all, let's see how activity main scene is looking. So we have the key set now, keyframe set. We have some attributes here. We have the image view at the frame position 50, the rotation minus 45, and so on for text view, for text description. So basically everything that we did with the motion editor, it's translated in this XML file. We have the constraint start, we have the image views, text view titles, what we set with the custom attribute color of the text view description to be black in the beginning, and we have then the constraint set end, we have constraint set to text view description, we have the text view description twice. I think the first one is not needed anymore. Okay, the second one is here, and we have the text color and we set it to white. So it begins from black and in the end it will be a white color. We can define much more, but this is only an introduction to this, so feel free to dig a little bit more into this because you can do nice thing with it. So now we have the transition, but the transition, if we run the app, we will see that the transition it's not working. So let me show you like this. I have a phone connected here, and basically this is the animation, and nothing happens because nothing is triggering the animation. Okay, if I can auto transition animate to start to end, sorry, to end, because we want to animate from the beginning to end. And now if we run the app, we will see that, let me open the phone. I'm using a real device, so this is not an emulator. I'm using a OnePlus phone, and we will see that when the app is started, the animation would automatically start. So basically, this will be something useful for landing screen or animate the screen when the user opens the app. So that was it. You cannot restart it. If we tap on this restart animation, nothing happens. Let's attach to this restart animation the action, the transition, so that it will restart the animation. What we can do is go up here and we can add a click handler in transition from start to end. And when we click what view, we want to click the button. We tap on add. Now if we go to activity main scene, we can see here that we have the click, which has motion, target ID, the button. Now if we tap the button, the animation will restart. Let's replay. Sorry, let me open again. Okay, and now if I tap on restart, basically you will see that it's animating from end to start, and then it from the beginning. So this would be, I know that this is not the prettiest animation, but I wanted to show you what you can do with MotionLayout editor. So thank you for watching this. I hope that this was helpful, and hope that you will continue using this and create nice animations. Thank you and have a nice day.